Teachings from Kuthumi's Hands Time is an illusion. Did you know that there really is no such thing as time? Did you know that the apparent passage of what we consider as time is simply an illusion? Did you know that the collective unconscious of humankind has created that abstract concept that we refer to as time? Well, how could this be? The illusion is pretty convincing, is it not? We seem to move in our lives from what we call the past on into the present moment, and from there into what appears to us as the future. What is so illusory about that? Isn't that the way it is? What do I mean when I say that time is an illusion? Here it is in its essence. In the mind consciousness of the creative intelligence of this universe, there is only one moment that exists, and that moment is the infinitive moment of now. The now moment is the only moment that exists, all appearances to the contrary notwithstanding, because those appearances, at least on this planet, are governed by the powerful thought form of the linear passage of time as collectively agreed upon by the sentient species of humanity and contained within the collective unconscious, which feeds into the subconscious of every incarnate individual on the planet. The planetary thought form, along with the billions of thought contributions by the members of the human race, collectively create the illusion that we call time. It's hard to digest, isn't it? So many questions arise. And what difference does it make anyway? I should make it clear to the naysayers that every single ascended master and higher being of light and gestalt of consciousness that has commented on the subject of time has said precisely the very same thing. The passage of time does not exist. The only, and I mean only, moment that we exist in is the now moment, and that is the only moment that we can ever exist in, because that is the only moment that exists within the mind of God. I think that one of the reasons why we have so much difficulty with this concept is because our analytical aspect of mind is run out of the left cerebral hemisphere, and that has been programmed from birth to operate in a linear fashion, programmed by the previous generation, which in turn was programmed by the one before it, and so on, back untold generations. The concept of a single now moment and the non-existence of a linear time are abstract conceptualizations and not readily comprehensible to the linear, logical aspect of mind. It may be known and perceived and intuitively felt by that aspect of mind that is operated out of the right cerebral hemisphere, and that might be called an insight. But when it comes to converting that concept into the linearity of language by the analytical aspect of mind, it hits a brick wall, because it has to be known and understood in its non-linear form, the sudden knowingness and AHA moments of the right brain. When it comes to the passage of time on this planet, there is nothing going on here except the rotation of this planet on its axis and the revolution of this planet around its star that we call the sun. The clocks and calendars and watches provide an artificial convenience, but keep in mind that it is artificial and doesn't really represent the truth of the matter. We go from one now moment to the next now moment, but we don't pass through time because it doesn't exist. We haven't gone from the past into the present. We've gone from one moment to the next moment that only appears to have been a past moment into a now moment. Many spiritual teachers and writers have given the admonishment to be here now. Well, even though they haven't spoken about it or come to recognize it, the real reason for needing to live in the now, by comparison with letting the mind dwell in the past or even the future, is that there is only the now and not any other moment. It is only in the now that we can accomplish anything, feel anything, experience anything, learn any lessons, expiate any karma, and fulfill our soul contracts for this incarnation. And now I come to an important point. It is only when we are dwelling fully and consciously in the now that we can make contact with our higher selves for the needed guidance and inspiration and input regarding the course of our lives. Most achieve that through meditation in the now moment, but increasing numbers are developing the receptivity of their right brains to better receive the intuitional thought packages that are coming from their source level of self, and which can only come when they are dwelling in the now moment. Do you see the importance of it? How many are occupied in their minds with the past? There are a lot of now moments that are being wasted, ignored, and not even being experienced. It is as though those persons are just refusing to live in the now, the only time when it is possible to live and be and evolve. How many are preoccupied with the future? Evolution takes place in the now and can only take place in the now because no other time exists. If one is living in the past or in the future, evolutionary advancement and growth and spiritual progress is not possible. It just ain't happening. Now is where you, the incarnate personality occupying a human form, are living. What kind of comprehension can be made of the so-called past and the so-called future by the wary, doubting, and rather alarmed intellect, which proceeds forth from the left brain? Think of all past time frames as being moments of a lower vibrational frequency reality by comparison with the current now-moment reality on this planet. The more into the past it was, the lower the frequency, and the more into the future, the higher the frequency. Visually, you may see it as a large stack of papers, each sheet being a certain moment of time in the past. The lowermost sheets are in the most distant past and so forth on up the stack to the present. All those past moments exist, but they don't exist in what we think of as the past. They coexist in the present now moment, but simply at a different and lower vibrational frequency. All is now! There is a corollary to all this which may leave a lot of people scratching their heads. If all that exists is in the now moment, then there is no such thing as past lives and reincarnation. Before you get worked up about this, allow me to explain. There is no such thing as reincarnation by the soul or higher self. There is multiple simultaneous incarnation. From the perspective of the higher self, all of its lives are happening all at once, merely at different vibrational levels of being that we call the past and the future because of the illusion. The growth of a soul doesn't proceed from the past into the future because there is only now. Visualize a great golden globe in the vastness of space. Visualize hundreds or thousands of spokes emanating from this globe in all directions. At the end of each of those spokes, there is a smaller globe of light. Each of those smaller globes are incarnations, and the greater globe is the spark of the Creator that we call the higher self. All of those incarnations are happening at once in different dimensions or time frames on this and other planets across the universe. It is only the illusion which makes it appear that those lives are in the past or the future. There is one other point which goes hand in hand with this concept, and that is the matter of karma, action and reaction, cause and effect. Almost all who believe in karma believe that it proceeds from the past to the present, but it's a misconception. The soul or higher self does the balancing of all its experiences throughout all its incarnations or fragment aspects of self, the smaller globes which are extensions of itself. Any negative karma from one lifetime or globe may be balanced by any other lifetime or globe as wisely overseen by the higher self. A life in the past may get the karma of a life in the present, just as a life in the future may give karma to a life in the present. Just as there is no linear progression of time, there is no linear progression of karmic balancing from the past to the present and on into the future. It's all happening at once, right now, simultaneously. Everything that you do in this life affects every other life that your source is living. And likewise, all your other lives are affecting this one by the things that they do. I offer these things from a higher perspective so that the truth may be known, and so that many more may rise up out of the illusion which holds down the consciousness of the race. The ascended masters of Earth's spiritual hierarchy wish for higher numbers of people to make it into the Aquarian age of harmony and peace during the transmutational shift of this planet, and I hope that this little offering may serve as an underpinning, a sort of foundational building block for erecting a structure of consciousness that is more compatible with the far higher frequencies of energy that will be permeating this solar system once the dimensional leap has been completed. The Masters love you right now. Please reference who are the spiritual hierarchy and what is an Ascended Master anyway? Are you in need of the healing energy of the Ascended Master Kuthumi? Visit KuthumiHands.com.